Unless I otherwise edited the video, you're watching a second video. I don't know if the first one needed to be broken up into two or not. We'll see as we go on YouTube. Either way, don't pay attention to that. What you're paying attention to is this He-Man collection that I'm selling. I'm focusing on the bad guys now. I already went through all the good guys, Castle Grayskull. See the other parts of the videos if you need to. But here we go. Well, I will start with Snake Mountain. I told you in the last video that there was a problem with Snake Mountain. It came with a microphone that made you sound really cool when you spoke through it, especially when you're a little kid and your balls haven't dropped. But it had this thing and you would rattle it. I think there was a spring inside there that made it like sounds or whatever. This was the on switch and volume right here. So that would be turning on and do that. The last time I tried to make this work though, it didn't work. And I'm sorry to say, probably the reason why. You could probably get this fixed, repaired, replaced, whatever. But you take the little plate off there. I don't know if you can see in there. But the leads for the 9-volt battery are very rusted out. Battery's not included. I had included the battery when it was in storage, and I forgot. And the battery probably exploded in there. It didn't melt anything. The acid is all cleaned out pretty much. But the leads are pretty much corroded, so I don't think it would work unless you change the leads on it. And by leads, I mean the little metal parts that attach to the battery. I'm having a hard time getting this back on here. Okay, cool. So this was like a microphone, wolf-type, snake-type thing for Snake Mountain. It does have its original ladder. It didn't come with a weapons rack, but it came with a bunch of stickers. Again, my expert stickering skills, not so much, but the stickers are a little frayed here at the top on this one, but they're still there. They almost seem Disney-esque with these monsters or whatever, but they're not Disney. This was meant to be some kind of thing. I think they eventually went ahead and did that. You see how the Hordak thing has a big hole in it? I'll explain that later. There's a big hole in Snake Mountain right there. Well, yeah, there he is. And you can stick your hand through it. Well, not so much when you're 34 years old, but when you're a little kid, you can stick your hand through that. And I guess you're supposed to be able to grab a character and pull them through. Although the figures probably wouldn't fit through there very well unless you pull them head and shoulders first. Anyway, there was a net to capture people in. This net right here, that's still intact. This twisted, I don't know if that was meant to twist or if it's just how the toy went together. There's a wolf on this gate here. It's kind of cool with Snake Mountain, but there's a bunch of wolves on it too. There is this giant snake right here though. The idea was you had a figure standing here, and then the snake would scare the figure either through the thing, or if it stayed and fought with the snake, I guess, because you could move the snake around. This little lever. Ooh, that just broke off. Don't worry, it's not broken. It's just a basically cheap-made toy, overpriced. I remember these were, I don't know, I can't remember how much they were when I was a kid. I didn't care. I think my mom bought me Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull. She had to have paid $50 or more each. But probably wasn't worth it. But this, oh yep, there's the trapdoor. This has a trapdoor too, and if you fought with the snake, and you were winning, the bad guys still had a trapdoor to get you in this net. It's funny, in Castle Grayskull you'll fall straight on a sticker of monsters, and in Snake Mountain, the bad guy one, you'll fall into a net that holds you above monsters. It's like, where's the logic there? But anyway, this has a little bridge in front of it. When you open and close Snake Mountain, which still closes pretty much intact. Snake Mountain was easier to close than Castle Grayskull because Castle Grayskull had a bunch of stuff on the inside that would cause problems when you closed it if you closed it too fast or didn't rearrange it right. This is broken. The thing that attaches the bridge together, but it still somewhat stays kind of suspended together. But when you want to open and close it, the bridge would still kind of supposedly stay intact. This is broken too, this little rung here. I don't know if you can see that. But the other parts on there are good, so it's good. That's the front. Well, let me get a better view since we're done in the back here. Boy. Snake Mountain. Here's that snake again. And there's the trap door. Here's the front. It's got this monster looking thing over here. Tentacles everywhere. Oh yeah, that's what I meant to show you in the back. This, I guess when you spoke into this, you were supposed to, you know, because there's the speaker through the nose of this creature right here. You're supposed to make his mouth move. And I remember on the advertisement it said, "This is a voice of Snake Mountain." That was my Skeletor impersonation, sorry. But here's these chains. They only seem to fit the girl figures, because the wrists of some of the other characters would break the thing, and the weight of the figures would, when you stand them on there, to be a torture device or whatever. Only the girls seem to fit. I don't know if I'm just telling myself that or if that's true. But this, the chain on this one is a little broken. It's still attached, but it's a little broken. So it's a little loose. That's really dark, so you probably couldn't tell very well, but let's just say the chains are still on there, but the one on the outside edge, not so much. It's about to fall off. But that's pretty dusty too, I'm sorry to say, and the microphone probably doesn't work unless you fix the lead somehow. We're going to get into the bad guy figures now. The sorceress, I just said figures, but here I am going to the bird. I showed you the bird for the sorceress. Well, here's the bird, the bad guy bird. I don't know who he was supposed to be, but anyway, there's his pedestal. If I hold the pedestal still, he still flies suspended, blah blah blah. But yes, I still have his pedestal. The other one I didn't, because like I said, I bought it used. And the other one didn't have its gear. I don't know if it came with gear, but this is gear around. It's like an armor. I don't know if they were trying to compete with Transformers at the time or whatever. The armor kind of pulls up on the tail feathers, and this one isn't as bent as the other one, and like I said, the foot is, both feet are still on this bird here, but it still flaps, it's still good, he's still happy. I'm going to put him back on his pedestal, try to without breaking his foot. And get ready to throw him back over here. Oh, the pedestal broke off, whatever. Anyway, that's all there. I thought this was a cool guy. Dragon Master Skeletor. Now, I don't have any water in this thing because I didn't want it to smell like rusted, or not rusted, but crusted plastic. But there's that. They had this little green padlock. Sometimes it comes loose real easy, but just keep the chain on the back of it and this on the front. And the chain is, I don't know if it's like plastic that's coated with some kind of metal paint or whatever, but it feels like metal, which I thought was cool. Little chain. And this, when you squeeze on its head, it's sprayed. There's Dragon Master Skeletor, and I thought the paint job on this was, at the time when I was a kid, I thought it was cool. And his armor does come off. Most of their armors do come off, and most of the characters that had this kind of setup. There's his evil ram scepter. This other Skeletor has an evil ram scepter too. And I don't know why I have two of these battle armor Skeletors, because one of them broke. This one, let me see here if I can get his armor to come back up. Nope, it's broken. The spring in it won't, or the little attachment thing or whatever, every time you get to the top and let go of it, oh no, wait a minute, there it is. It double damages every time. You can't get it to do anything else but double damage. This one, the spring on it is broken, and you can get it to go, I think they put it in there backwards or upside down, or I don't know what they did, the spring that is, and you can't get it to work like it's supposed to. But they have swords. And this one had a, I think this was the shield that went with it. I know it looks like, wow, that doesn't look right because it's a different color than his weapon or whatever. I'm probably wrong about that, but that's the shield that I gave him. Anyway, here's some of those extra weapons again. I think I showed you that in the last video anyway. And then here's Beastman. This was actually He-Man's original enemy, and I have 2 whips. And I always thought the whips on these were cool because they're like not plastic, they're like ropes. And so Beastman would just be whipping bitches. Anyway, here's Clawful. He has springing action. He doesn't have springing action on his big claw arm, like Jitsu and Fisto do, but he does have this claw right here, which I thought was cool. And his face is kind of cool too. The armor on all these, some of these, or not all of these, but some of these had these plastic armors that were very cheaply made, and I would suggest not messing with them. But for the most part, there's some of them that may have a missing tooth, you know, a little tab that goes into the slot here and there, but for the most part, these are pretty good. This one has black feet, as I explained in the last video. You know, I put black on to cover up my name on some of these later on. Same thing with Beastman and I think the Skeletor, or the Battle Armor Skeletors anyway. Not like it matters with them because their feet were very dark purple. Here's Merman and his Mercorn Sea Sword, whatever, and Corn Armor. I don't know what the hell that was, but anyway, I guess he was supposed to be Stratus's counterpart. Similar to Merman's head was Stinkor's head. They just turned him into a skunk instead of a fish. Isn't that odd how they would do that? The arms and the bodies and the waist and the legs and the loincloth, if you could call it that, were very similar on most of these figures. They just changed the colors on them, that's all they did. And the feet and hands sometimes were very similar too, they just changed the colors. Like, you know, Clawful had bigger claws. He had kind of humanish feet. But Skeletor and him had like web feet, and him web feet. He has normal feet. Oh yeah, who is this? This is Spikor. And I believe this was his vehicle right here. Let me go right into that. Yeah, it has guns, movable guns. The stickers on it are pretty good. There's some fraying on some of them. But it had this thing, and it, you know, no batteries required or anything. But when you moved it, the buzzsaw on it would spin. If that was a real car in the future, they should put that in war or something so that they can kill down the enemies a lot easier. Whatever, I don't know. But he has the whipping action, but his spike comes out, or you know, he has like a built-in trident, and you can just smack bitches with that. And come here and give me a hug. Oh, whoa, you don't want to do that either. Not with Spikor. Stinkor, like I said, Mossman and him had a smell to them. Stinkor's smell, though, you can kind of smell what it was supposed to smell like in the past, but it's not so bad anymore. It used to be really bad, though. Not as bad as a skunk, but it was nasty plastic. I don't know if they put some kind of oil in it that made it smell like crap, or they put perfume or something on it. Here's Jitsu that I was talking about. His thing, detachable, like I said. I guess I was worried about the gold or whatever, and plus his feet were black, but I put my name on his judo chop thing. Sorry to say. I'm sure you could scratch that out wherever you see paint on here or magic marker. This guy was an Asian Oriental guy. Kind of racist, but whatever. He was cool. He has a spring arm action, just like Fisto. He was meant to be Fisto's enemy, I guess. And his thing, his judo chop thing, could come off if you wanted to. And he has spring-loaded waist too. That still works. Here is Triclops. I believe his name is Triclops or Tri something. But he had 3 eyes, kind of like many faces had 3 faces. See a common theme there? But his sword I always thought was really cool. And his sword is much like this purple one, but the purple one has the broken thing off. This one has it on there. He had black shoes too, so I put my name on his armor. And he had kind of odd armor that none of the other characters had. It was plastic, and it's kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle armor, you know, plastic in the sense that it was plasticky. You know, I talked about Roboto in the last one. Here is Trapjaw. I used to like him in the cartoon, but he has like a spring-loaded mouth instead of, you know, you turn it and his mouth would move like Roboto. He has a gun and a hook and a claw that could all attach to either his little robotic arm here or on his utility belt, which was oddly green. He had black boots, so of course I wrote my name on his head, sorry to say, but like I said, you could probably scratch that out. He's got a little skull on his belt. It's kind of cool. This comes off too if you wanted it to, but I'd suggest not messing with it. It's not broken or anything, but don't want to mess with it. He had this thing, a hole through the top of his head. It's because I believe on the hook you could put like tie a string around it, and it was like a grappling hook, and then you could attach the grappling hook to his head and make him, I don't know, zip line to somewhere. I don't know. Speaking of zip line, though, there was this guy. I called him Webster, but I think his name was Webhead or Weber or something like that. Not to be confused with Spider-Man. But he has this little mechanism in his backpack that you can't get to. Even when you take the armor off, you'd have to break it open to get it to. I guess there was a knot in the thread that was going through it. But basically there was a thread that would go into the bottom part, and it would come out of the top part. When it was in here, it had like some kind of pulley system in it, and when you would pull, he had a hook, which oddly I can't find. It was like a grappling hook, and he had a tab. You would put the hook on something on the top when the line goes to the hook, and you hook the grappling hook to something. And then the bottom had this tab, and you would pull it, and he would zip up and down like a crazy man. Well, problem was, I'm missing that, and it was broken anyway. So, but for everything else, though, he's pretty much intact. So, and oddly enough, I didn't write my name on him. Here's Two-Face. I believe that was what his name was, not to be confused with the Batman character. But Two-Face had just the shield with spikes on it, and his chest armor has spikes on it, and he has the spring-loaded action too. He had odd legs, like the one arm was crazy and the other arm was different, you know, blue and purple on one side. Anyway, he kind of looked like a Prince Lotor face in this one, and some other guy in the other one. I always thought it was funny, though, he could punch his other head. It's kind of funny to me. But when he swung him around,